Peace, power, and love. Humam Abdulmalik again with Blackanized, international Nubian consciousness. That's Blackanized, international Nubian conscious chess moves. Today, again, to motivate, stimulate, and agitate us to rise up, stand up, and be productive in our community. First thing I hear about when I wake up or read about is Lyra and Rainika missing as yesterday, which was the 19th. Mr. Henderson put the police report out, but it's really pathetic. It's really, ridiculous. Every other day, one or two missing out of our community, our little black queens and princesses. What's going on? What really is going on in our community where we can't protect our children? What are the mothers and fathers doing, or what's going on? What's going on with the village? Where's the source of this at? What is it for? For sex rings, body parts, or whatever. We got to stop this thing. We got to stop it, really. We, the people, have to stop it. We, the people that live in these communities, must be more vigilant in being protective of our young children. And be steadfast in that protection. So if we don't do it, it's not going to happen. We can see that over the last 2 or 3 weeks, it's been a missing child. Every day, every other day, man. And the only way it's going to be stopped is we stop it. Because the police doing a job, they working on shifts. It's our life. We live here in these communities. Before I go any further, I'd like to say Hotep, Ashe, Salam Alaikum, peace, and all the good words to bring that synergy and the energy of us together as a people. I'd like to say to one of my long distinguished brothers, that's Brother Alvin Bethay, a strong, very intelligent young man, that befriended me some years ago. And we've been in that brotherhood, locked in brotherhood of unity and love and respect for each other ever since. I just want to say, Hotep, my brother, peace. And everybody else that may be viewing, I want to say the same thing, extend this love, this energy of love and synergy from a divine essence with the blessings of the divine energy that's in us, this natural simplistic energy that we must tie into the essence of love for our people, for each other, to unify, organize, and develop an infrastructure within this political climate that we find ourselves in. The time now is for us to really come together and show support in every avenue, every nook and cranny in our community. We must develop a change within ourselves, our personal selves. In order to bring this about, we got to purify ourselves. We got to understand and know that our temple is the building of the energy of the Creator. The energy of the divine essence is in us. But we be programmed to be dealing with our animalistic and predatory nature. And we got to break that chain of social engineering. Social engineering is that they do things in a way that make us without our knowing it. If we succumb to it, we be under their direction, like robot control. We got to overcome that. That's why we got to deal with our divine nature. We have to fortify ourselves with information and knowledge that will block their frequencies and their social engineering apparatus, which is their music, the videos, the television programs, and all that. I'm talking about the empires and the scandals and all that you don't see. It's a form of programming. And like the media, ain't nothing being said or put in the paper about our missing children. If it is, it's very minute. If it is, it's just starting. If it is, it's because of the efforts of the community, of the people in the community, such as Miss Felicia Harris and Mr. Henderson and Sister Sharisa and people, and even the city councilman, Trayon White Award 8. Other than that, you don't hear anything about it in these media papers or this propaganda or whatever, because the people with the affluent people, they control the media. See, we just talking about a local thing now with our missing children, but this is a global thing for body parts and melanin and all that, but it's interconnected. But we got to stop it on a local level. We got to defend ourselves and our community and our children. That's one issue in our community. And the other issue, we still got to reach our young adults who are through social engineering in this silent war against each other, taking each other out at the slightest maladjustment or anger or emotionalism, or somebody owing some money. Whatever the reasons are, they're not good enough reasons to take somebody's life in our own community that you may have been knowing. And what is the reason? There's no reason. I mean, you got to ask yourself, what is the reason? You got to ask yourself if that was you on the receiving end of that bullet. You got to ask yourself if that was your daughter or your son or your mother or your grandmother on the receiving end of that bullet. You wouldn't want that. So if you wouldn't want it for yourself, you shouldn't want it for anybody else. And I'm talking about the ones who pull the trigger, who have that animalistic endeavor in their life, or that, a progressive, predatorial nature that we must overcome. We must be protectors of our community. We are guardians of our community. We have to get into that mindset. We got to change our thinking. We got to change everything about ourselves in this current time, because this is time that they're upping their laboratory experiments. I don't know if a lot of us do any reading, but it's a book called The Bell Curve, and it talks about how they use stimuli to social engineer our progress in life through the educational system and through how much you make and all that. All these things are done systematically. They're not haphazardly done. They're done because they plan things out. You remember Georgetown? Look at it now. You remember Northeast Corridor? 14th Street Corridor? Look at it now. Then what's in the making? Ward 8. It's in the making now. That's why we got to hold on. But that is, I ain't gonna say it's secondary, but what's more important is our children. Our missing children should be one of the things first on the list that we do, that we got to stop and prevent. That's 1A, I say 1B. 1A, or they intermix, we got to reach our youth. Or they got to reach their self. They got to realize their self. Because it's like we can't stop them. They have to stop themselves. We can be motivating factors. We can plant seeds. We can talk. We can scream. We can holler. But we got to meet them where they're at and have them come together and say, man, it's time to stop this nonsense. Enough is enough. We got to make them see that. We got to make them realize that what they're doing, they're being manipulated to do. They're under robot control. You know, they may talk the bling bling or I'm a baller and all them. Them misnomers. Those are like labels of persuasion. So you the baller now, or I got all this bling bling or this or that. But that don't mean nothing, man. When you take a life, you not only affect that one life, you affect the family, the children, and all that. Then, if you get caught or whatever, then that's some more people that's going to be affected. Because you're going to go on the plantation where they want you to go to be a slave, indentured servant. That's where you'll be a slave when you're incarcerated, according to the 13th Amendment. That's their law that they got in effect. And then it affects your family, your children, son or daughter or whatever. So that's why we got to wake up. The individuals that's in that lifestyle, they have to wake up. Because if they don't change it, it ain't going to change. I say perhaps it may not change, but everything is by divine decree. We haven't come this far to be annihilated or debilitated to such a degree that we can't change, that we can't take control of our life through self-discipline and self-control on the highways or pathways of our ancestors that left signs for us to develop into great human beings, the greatness that we once had. Why do you think they left all those articulate, great, statues? That was for our guidance, to give us a way, to show us the way of our greatness. So these people that's trying to replicate our greatness can't do it. So, oh man, that's why we got to stand up. We got to stand up and be the great people that we are, the spiritual people that we are, man. Because it's very hurtful in our communities when we keep losing children, and then death is like a parlay to that we, by our hands, by our young adults' hands, man. Got to stop. We got to reach them. We got to reach them through understanding, love, and peace, man. We can make laws and pass laws that infiltrate or put a large contingent of police force or slave catchers in our community. It's like we're working against ourselves, because the system, as it be, is a system of hypocrisy, as it be, a system of racism and white nationalism. And those are the people that's in leadership on the high levels of our society, not only locally, nationally, and worldwide. Come from the same source. In these Cabal states, Cabal, Cabal states. Look it up and find out what it means. And knowing that I'm really messed up about our missing children. Every day, man, we talk about it and it still happens. How can it be so blatant like that, right in front of our face, when we're supposed to be on red alert? We're supposed to be more vigilant now, and it's still happening. What is it, an inside source or what? What's going on? Is it like the crack epidemic where the people using drugs to buy the children? Because we know the Flacca and 2K or whatever, people like that. I don't know what's going on. Heroin back out. But man, we got to stop this. We got to reach out young adults, young warriors on them street corners and bring them into the mix of unification, self-control, and self-discipline so that we can grow. And we be like, everybody be doing their thing, enjoying themselves and all that. Through intoxication, partying, whatever, but we're not being vigilant, man, in our community. We allow people to snatch our children. I want to also share this with us. I was telling a sister about when I talked to the young dude with all the tattoos, on his body and how they signs for what he might do and all that. So the sister was in the store, right? And she was telling me because she had looked at what I was saying the other day. And she said she seen a young brother shopping that had some tattoos. He had the 2 teardrops on his face, but they was on both sides. By being like that, I didn't say anything, but I was thinking that it got to mean something else instead of the teardrops on the same side. But also, the young guy told her if the teardrops have an open space in them, that means that they're moaning. But if the teardrops are, like the dark spot with, that space filled, then that means that they are killers or whatever. So she said that she learned something. Then also, I learned something because I didn't know that aspect of it. Because I do see some brothers with the open teardrop, and I see a lot of brothers with the closed teardrop, and that's where my information came from that I said the other night. Then another thing I like to address, or it's not really addressed, but it's a tidbit, like people talk about the brothers that walk around with their pants off their butt and all this and all that. It is said that that's a homosexual inviting type of attitude or whatever. But I somewhat disagree with that, because these dudes just walking around with their pants like that, some of them dudes that got them whatever armament, they would take you out or whatever. But then I wanted to say on this note, a friend of mine, when he was in college on the West Coast, right, he said that he ran into a Blood or Crip, and they was discussing that, and the Blood or Crip said that the reason that they do it is because if they die, get shot in their lifestyle, they hope they fall on their face so they can tell the world to kiss their jazz. So those 2 other little tidbits that, man, I just wanted to share with us. But in this silent war in our communities, we got to come together and unify, become entrepreneurs, become, in collaborations with each other through love and peace and understanding, connecting in our way of life or religious life or whatever. That whatever religion that we practice, it should be bringing us together in unification. The conscious people, the revolutionaries, and the Muslims and the Christians and the Jews, and we can't allow these people, these affluent people on the high echelons of this society, that main purpose is to control all people with soul. Our objective is to come together in unification, not to be separated, not to thinking we hold the key to our salvation. One group don't hold